Hey guys, welcome to a new market update video. Last week has not been great for the markets yet again. It was doing okay at the start of the week, and then we consolidated, and then on Friday and Saturday, we basically fell and retraced everything that was moved up the week before. So here we are. I would say for Bitcoin, there's like little to no changes besides the fact that we're now trading below the daily 200 MA and EMA again. But I mean, considering how this entire consolidation has been going, that's nothing new here. We're going above, we're going below. We can't really seem to stick to any direction here in the past few weeks. Um, the main thing people are looking out for now, and markets in general, will be the 2nd of April, which will be in 2 days from when you're seeing this. So that's when the so-called Liberation Day is happening, which is when all the tariffs Trump and his administration have thought of are going to get implemented, supposedly. There's been some noise here and there from the EU that they might want to strike a deal or whatever. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens and to what degree. Of course, no one really knows what's happening here and to what degree, how bad it is, on which sectors, etc., etc. So it's all just a lot of guessing, and it brings a lot of uncertainty. And if there's one thing markets don't like, it's uncertainty. So that's also why stocks, which we'll head to in a bit, are basically trading at their local lows again after a big sell-off the past few days. I do think even though it might be bad in the short term, if the tariffs are really bad and there's no deal made or whatever, yes, we'll see more downside, definitely. But it's good to have these things out of the way. It could be that either they lead on with heavy tariffs, looking to strike deals and make them go away or make them lower. Could be that it starts off slow and then ramps up. I think the former makes more sense. Just make it really, really heavy, show people you're not bluffing, and then from there on out, try to make something work. Regardless, after this is over, we at least have certainty, whether it's good or bad. It's some certainty, and from there on out, the market can maybe start to move a bit more rationally and not depending on some kind of future event. That's usually the worst market to trade as well, because right now it's just a lot of chop and people de-risking into it, and yeah, and you can see what happens. That's kind of what you'll get. So for BTC, I'd say there's like little to no changes. The main levels I'm watching is of course this previous 2024 high from this range at like let's say 73 and a half or 74, and then the main level to break, in my opinion, is this one, or this area up here, which was basically range low, so around like 90. I'd be pretty bullish again if we flip this and we hold. I think that would make a setup for new all-time highs. To be fair, like it's only a 10% move away from here to get to that point, so like any random day can get you there. That's why I'm not too excited to jump on the bear train just yet, because I don't know. We know how quickly these things can change. I mean, it's one of these candles, and you're back up there, and everyone is bullish, and everything looks good. Um, so that's why I'm pretty. I mean, it's not looking great short term, but pretty neutral overall. Of course, if we do go down here, I would look at this as a support, but I'd say this would be pretty bearish to go here. Yes, it can sweep here. I'd potentially buy if it was like a big wick or something on news or some kind of fear. But if we slowly dribble back down here and we kind of sit here and don't really bounce, I think that's just going to set us up for a move lower. Um, if you want to tap here, it's got to be quick and straight back up, I think, because just sitting on these kind of supports and not really bouncing is usually a pretty big sign. But yeah, for now, let's await the 2nd of April. I'm not going to get too much into short term things because I have no idea what's going to happen. No one knows. And we're heavily correlated with stocks. So whenever stocks have an up day, we'll have an up day, and vice versa. And usually, if you overlay the charts on like the hourly, it's pretty much the same. So we can say all we want about crypto at this point, but it doesn't really make sense because you're basically trading stocks. Well, that was that thing. And yeah, here we have the stock market, in this case, the Nasdaq. So it rejected of the daily 200 MA and EMA and now back at this local support. It had a decent bounce initially. One thing I am looking out for, which was something I tweeted out as well, seems pretty likely at this point. S&P is the same, so would be decent if you can maybe sweep here and then make this bullish divergence on the RSI. Could be a decent setup. Let's say we sweep early on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and then 2nd of April on Wednesday, I think. Let's say it's okay-ish, and we have had this sweep, and then we get some relief, then that could be a decent setup and in case for like a local bottom. But yeah, let's wait and see. For all we know, it's really awful. We'll just go deeper, and then BTC likely follows as well. I just really don't know, and really no one does. Total 3 market cap, which is all the alts, looks okay-ish technically. We're trying to build some kind of bottom here, but I do want to see this back above 840 billion, 850 billion, somewhere around here. This is a pretty scary zone. Yes, next level would technically be 650, and this would be in line with something like, no, not even, by the way, but this would be in line with the retest of the election breakout. Technically wouldn't be awful, but it's not great either. ETH, of course, very weak. I mean, had a decent bounce. I mean, these kind of moves, almost 20%, but then, yeah, and it loses it again in a few days. So this green dotted line is some key level which a lot of alts are trading at, which I'll show in a bit. So this is the breakout from late 2023, right ahead of the ETF launching, and when it really started getting priced in. So BTC was also chopping around like 25k around this area, and there was a big discrepancy here, I think, because at this time there was already like a 90% chance that the ETF would get approved, and yet price was not pricing it in at all. And then we had some kind of the Cointelegraph intern leaking the ETF being approved, which was of course fake, but then price pumped and people were like, oh shit, we're really not ready for this thing actually getting approved. And then that kind of got everything rolling. Anyways, ETH's back at that level. Of course, BTC is trading like almost triple this at this point. But yeah, this is a key level, and we're seeing some support at this breakout level on a lot of alts. But I think this is a really important one to hold. And to really get things going again, you want to at least get back some of these resistances, which in each case would be 2.1k. This is a key level. From there on out, you can start looking at like 2.8k again, try to fill up this move back down, etc., etc. But for now, this is just, for all I know, this takes like weeks or months. I don't know. Just think this is an important one, and this is an important one, and I'd say don't look to, of course, you might get the breakdown, but don't look at longing into this resistance, don't look at shorting into this thing, because that's what people are generally doing. They get really bearish here at the bottom, and they get really bullish at the top, and for all we know, this bounces around like a couple more times, and you will just get chopped up. Of course, it's different if it actually breaks through on either side, then you can hold on to the momentum, but generally try to stay away from all the sentiment, etc. around these things, because it's usually wrong, especially when it's kind of choppy. Bitcoin dominance still trending up, no real changes here. I mean, it's slowly moving up the past few weeks. It is trading above this high here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this really gets going until the overall market sees a bounce and BTC gets away from this relatively scary area. I think when it goes above 90k, I think there's a time where altcoins outperform a bit as they're down so much, and they can probably outperform pretty well in this area up here until BTC were to make new all-time highs, because then it usually accelerates and all the liquidity moves back into BTC. Then it's probably BTC taking the spotlight again, but yeah, let's see. you really need some risk on environment for alts to do well. Solana, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere in my opinion. It's sitting here right at this entire range with which it traded at for so long. I think this is an important area to start trading back above, like let's say 150. Above 150, I like it a lot more, like from the look of it. If we test lower, like there's some liquidity here still to be taken. This low is still not tapped. I think we took out this one. Yeah, this one is taken out. So maybe another sweep here quickly and then move back up. But I'm not too interested here. I'd rather buy some strength above like 150-ish and then try to fill up this inefficiency from the entire strategic reserve announcement thing. But for now, not too interested here. XRP looks okay. Definitely one of the strong coins out there because, I mean, it's not down that much from its all-time high. 35%, it's not that far away from BTC, honestly. There's a decent level here coming up with the daily 200 MA and EMA catching up and the range low, of course, as well. If we trade down here, I would not want to sit here for too long, just down and straight back up. Could be a decent setup for a move back to the range high and who knows, maybe beyond. But same here, I would not want to be shorting near this range low. I would not want to be longing near the top. And as you can see, it's kind of holding true for a while now. Yeah, I mean, we swept both sides in terms of liquidity, so pretty neutral on this here in the short term. Then we have Hype. Of course, you might have seen it from Hyperliquid. I'll summarize it shortly what happened last week. So there was this whale and he cornered the supply on this jelly coin on spot, and then he opened a lot of longs initially, and he let himself liquidate or get liquidated on Hyperliquid. And what happens when you get liquidated? The HLP or liquidity provider takes over your position. So he was long, he got liquidated. That means his longs get sold. So that means the Hyperliquid basically took over his longs, which turned into shorts. From there on out, he started massively pumping this thing on both perps and spot. So it basically went straight up. It was like already 3 or 4x half an hour later. And Hype was still sitting with this massive short position. So at some point it was down, I think, like 12 million out of the total, I think 60 million this thing made over the past 2 years or whatever. So it was a massive hit. And the Hyperliquid team decided to settle the position at a lower price as they felt like that was needed. And that was the way to regain trust in the system. As I mean, I think it was the better decision, honestly, because otherwise the liquidity would have just fled and entire protocol would have kind of died down. But this as well, it wasn't great. So we got this move down here, which is pretty large on such a large market cap. Yeah, I mean, people didn't like it because obviously it shows you're not decentralized at all. You can just close positions manually and even change the price of it. So the guy that tried to manipulate or whatever, obviously it's not a good thing to do either, but he got fucked. Yeah, I mean, always a question of ethics here. I'm not sure. It does show you're not really a DEX, but I also think the alternative would be that everyone would have fled because people would be scared that it would get attacked again and again, and liquidity would have just been moving out. They already lost like half of their liquidity since last month, so yeah, it's kind of heavy right now. Wouldn't want to touch this at all. Still think it's a decent protocol. But I think this will be pretty heavy in terms of trading wise over the next few months until it really regains trust or like the overall market sentiment improves. Especially this sitting at like these lows from the perp listings on Bybit. I'm not sure how it is on Binance. Oh, they're not even on Binance yet. I figured they were on Binance. No, never mind then. Yeah, I mean, good chance you'll start consolidating a bit lower here, but let's see. Then onto a few other charts. This is of course this line which I showed on ETH, this retest from the breakout in late 2023. Same thing here. kind of, in terms of the structure. Of course, this was after the election still, but all these coins, in this case Cent, GameFi, Metaverse Coin, they're all right back to where they started. I think the Metaverse GameFi thing has been pretty dead because ETH has been pretty dead. Most of it is built on there. There's a big launch coming up here soon on Binance, in Binance's launch pool, Gunsilla. I'm an investor in that one. I think it has the potential to potentially get a narrative started because it's the first big gaming launch in a long time. There's a lot of money behind it. The game is actually working. I tried it a couple months ago. It's decent, or decent. It's really good for a crypto game. It was a bit laggy for me because it's a battle royale game, and the render distance was just really far. So that's something I struggled a bit with, but I think it's optimized since. Yeah, overall, I mean, for a crypto game, it was by far the best I've seen. I'm not sure how the token will do, of course. I'm not sure what it will launch at. We'll see. But I think if you get some kind of risk on environment and the token does okay, I think it could really start propelling some of these gamified coins, especially seeing where they're trading at. But yeah, let's see. Of course, we have this, we have Mana, we have XC. There's a lot of these that did really well last cycle that really haven't moved much this time around, except for, of course, these short-term pumps and then straight back down. Then we have Ethena. I'm mainly highlighting this because, of course, also technically it's support, but the one narrative I'm pretty bullish on here in the short to midterm is these anything related to stablecoins. So if there's one thing people are bullish on, especially from the TradFi world, it's stablecoins. So we're seeing all these big companies and the president and everyone is launching stablecoins because the business is just really good. I think Tether makes the most profit per head for the amount of employees they have by far. It's like billions. It's insane. Well, not billions per employee, I think, but they literally make like so much with like 40 or 60 employees or whatever. It's just a really good business, and it also helps the United States because these things basically all the money that's getting put into these stables to get minted are mostly held safe in these treasury bonds, so that's more people buying the US's debt. So I think if there's any sector they will embrace, it's going to be like stable coins and RWA, etc. And yeah, you can really see it accelerating really hard right now. So with that said, anything related to stablecoins can be pretty decent. But of course, yeah, we need some momentum first. But just highlighting this because a few coins like these and, for example, FXS, which had a decent run already, do want to see this break like 250 or something to really get going, as it's pretty just range bound here. And we have Maker and all these coins, Curve. They're all related somewhat. And of course, it doesn't really have to be a really great thesis once the momentum is here and people are talking, okay, stable coins, let's get on the narrative. And then once you see these coins going, you can probably hop on. For now, I'm just naming some names and not really doing too much just yet. But that's something to keep in mind. You rather want to be early on this narrative if it gets going at some point. But this can be a good reason to start monitoring these coins, as I'm doing as well. And then hopefully move from there. Then, well, that was an unintentional pun, but then we have Move. Of course, this we were looking at this falling wedge. It broke out, but that was on the back of news of a 38 million buyback over time. It was due to their market maker doing some irregular activity or whatever. It basically sold more than it should have. So they recouped that money and putting it back into a Move and moving it into a separate wallet. So that's decent. Of course, market environment is not great. So, I mean, it moved up temporarily. I think they bought like 10 million so far. So there's definitely some still to go. But yeah, the 60 cents level was something we were eyeing before. It rejected for now. If it can get back above here, that would be really nice. But let's see here. I'm not sure when they're gonna do the buybacks and how frequent, etc. But we'll see. Good one to keep an eye on. Clearpool trying to turn its trend around here after the big fall. Kind of looking similar to how it did here, like slowly moving up. Hopefully we can get something similar. I do want to see it hold back above like 16 cents. It was there temporarily, but got rejected on the market weakness. Good chance to make a higher low here, but would want to see this grinding up in a similar fashion as it did back down here. Near, same thing here. Here, Jesus, all intentional, guys. It's all rhyming and anything. Yeah, so back to the 2023 breakout level, similar to ETH. Do want to see this retake 3-ish, and then it looks pretty decent. But for now, you can see most of these things, they have bounced from this level, and they're rejecting from this previous support level. That's kind of the same thing here. It's the same thing with ETH. Well, kind of front run the 2100 retest. Oh, sorry. But you can see it basically retested around this region, and that's the same thing for many of these coins. IOTA holding up okay-ish as well. In case we do get a sweep here, I would potentially be interested in longing if we get a decent reaction. For now, my eyes are on like this 22-23 cents level, because in that case I think this can start filling up some of this inefficiency from the strategic reserve pump, which then of course you can start looking at a full trend reversal. For now, just waiting and seeing what it does in this consolidation. Aptos, same thing, at high time frame support. It has bounced off of this level several times already and causing a big move. Lower highs every time, but to be honest, like even last time, from here back to here, you're already at like a 3.5x or something. Even if you go from like 5 to 10, that's still a 2x at this point. So keeping an eye on this level. It's being protected pretty well. So if we get some momentum, I might hop on. But for that, I just mainly look at some kind of local breakout or something. Then we have Rose, basically down to all-time lows in terms of its Binance chart. That's why I'm highlighting this, because this can turn into a decent deviation, but same here. It bounced, then it retested the local previous support into resistance, and you really want to break these kind of levels to get going. Same thing, of course, back to the 2023 breakout level, bounced, rejected, and now sitting here. You can see it's all the same thing here. TAI, AI coin, Solana. So I think if Solana does well, this thing will start ramping back up as well. Decent support area technically near its lows and in this breakout level here, but same here. Would want to see at least this breakout, and ideally back above 10 cents to really get the party going again. And Metis, same. This also rejected off of this local support resistance, and you can see all the charts are basically the same, and they all look like ETH, and that's why I always say, if you want an overall alt season or most alts doing well, you need ETH to do well, because Bitcoin dominance won't go down otherwise, the momentum won't be there for alts, and yes, you'll have these individual or isolated runs. We saw a lot of coins do well, but it's always one sector or all the Solana coins or all the RWA coins, whatever. If you want to roughly see many coins do well, you need ETH to do well. Don't think you'll ever get an completely market-wide alt season again, but I think you can get like a good chunk, like the entire top 100 or whatever, top 300 doing well, and then you need ETH. All right, that's it for now. I hope you all enjoyed, and I wish you all a very good week ahead, and good luck on the 2nd of April. Take care. Bye-bye.